Valve has some huge hardware announcements that we have to discuss. They officially announced the Steam Machine, the Steam Controller, and the Steam Frame VR headset, all coming out in 2026. The big headline is that the Steam Machine itself, a tiny 6-inch cube that Valve says has over 6 times the horsepower of the Steam Deck. It's designed to play basically your entire Steam library, and they're aiming for 4K at 60 frames using their upscaling tech. It comes in 2 storage options, the 512 gigs or 2 terabytes. They showed off the brand new Steam controller, which features advanced thumbsticks, motion controls, touchpads, back grip buttons, basically everything you'd want when you're playing shooter strategy games or anything in between. And then there's the Steam Frame, a standalone VR headset running SteamOS. You can play VR games on it without a PC, but if you do want more power, you can wirelessly connect to the Steam Machine for even bigger titles. Even works as a big screen viewer for non-VR content. So gentlemen, a new horse enters the race for the living room screen. What do you guys think? Are they positioning themselves to compete with the big three? Or this is going to be more for the hardcore PC crowd only?
I think they're going to be attracting the casual gamer with this one. This is going to be really attractive. And I would like to, should we start on each individual little piece? I think we start first with the Steam Machine, which is like we have...
Is that what it's called, the Steam Machine? Because that's pretty awesome. I kind of like it.
It is cool, and boy, do I think that little cube is rather sexy. That is a nice piece of hardware that I think that was what the Series X was striving for, and I think Valve really knocked it out of the park. Now, you mentioned I think the storage is not too much of a concern.
Yeah,
I think
was it
502
that is
terabytes.
a concern, isn't it?
That is the 500 gigabyte option. Is you can maybe work with that and squeeze out, you can get a couple games on there, but I think the 2 terabyte option is gonna come at a obviously a steeper cost.
Molding, real quickly, I want to throw to you because
yes,
Lord is a guy. Lord is the PC guy. He loves all this PC tech. He loves Steams. He loves his Steam Deck. So of course he's fired up about it. You're more of a console guy. How does this strike you?
I think this is a console killer. I think Xbox better batten down the hatches. One of the reasons the main reason I don't play PC games is I don't want to sit at my desk and play games. I want to sit on my couch and play games. So if I can play PC games from my couch, you got a winner for me.
Did
I knock your socks off?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you were actually this pro.
No, there's so many, like a lot of strategy games come out on PC that I can't play because you need a mouse and keyboard.
I'm all for this too. I think Microsoft should definitely be quaking in their boots. They should be a little bit nervous here, except for the fact that this is running the Steam OS. And yes, they say you can install other operating systems on it, but knowing that the Steam OS is a Linux-based operating system, it's not going to be able to run some of these kernel-based anti-cheat shooters, and I think you have to have shooters on your console if you're going to get under the living room TV.
That is a very great point, and there is already talks that, like, I don't know if this is coming from Discord, but some sort of correspondence from Steam. They were saying that was a big concern. They're saying, okay, if this is going to be as big as we think it is, these developers are going to get behind supporting Linux-based systems. And I was like, that is amazing. Like, I really hope that is the case. And I'm with you. They have to have, like, the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, and
agreed.
And so, yeah, I definitely think this is a great step in making that a reality.
Well, I hope for your sake, because I know you love those games, and I know you love your Steam Deck, so it would definitely be nice for you. But that just goes back to prove the old adage that software moves hardware, meaning if Valve really wants to launch this as a console, where's Half-Life 3? They need to be bringing the games to this thing. Just putting hardware there isn't enough for it to be adopted rapidly. They have to support it with some must-have software, something that's, Xbox is dying because it doesn't have any exclusives. What are the Valve exclusives? Yes, I know there are a lot of PC games that are great and that are exclusive to PC, but Valve needs to actually generate some headlines here if they want to move their hardware. Otherwise, I just don't see the adoption being that fast. I'm not saying it's not going to be popular, but they need to really invest in this machine, and not just the hardware. It needs to have games for it as well.
Team Fortress 3, Portal 3, and Half-Life 3. Those are the
that would do it. That would do it.
That's the trifecta.
Well,
just give us Orange Box 2. That's all they need to do.
And the rumor mill is in full effect. I mean, that Half-Life subreddit is going off the hook, and people are thinking that all this hardware is just, it's inevitable. We're getting that Half-Life 3 announcement, and people are speculating early 2026, very closely aligned with the release of this hardware. Maybe not right away, but I think it's going to be I think it could be the same day. Maybe like an announcement like a week before. People are saying maybe the Game Awards, but I think Valve can do their own thing at this point.
Before we move on to the controller, though, I want to pick each one of your brains real quickly. What do you think the ideal price is, and what do you think the realistic launch price is going to be?
$499 is the ideal price. The actual price is going to be $799.
You're probably right on.
Yeah, that was
really good.
Yeah, that was pretty spot. My ideal price to get it into everybody's households, especially casual gamers, you'll have a $399 system. Ideally $399, and then $500 for the 2 terabyte, which I don't know if that's going to be possible. And then I think $699, was realistic. I think $699 and then
this price is right. Are you trying to undercut?
Yeah, I'm going for the undercut.
$698.
Yeah.
$1. Yeah. No, I think you guys are really spot on. I think the real thing here is people are looking at this device and the components, and they're saying this is pretty much equal to a PlayStation 5. And therefore, I think if you're really going to compete with console gamers and not try and, PC players will definitely pay more. Console players, however, are going to be a little bit more price sensitive. Of course, they're going to love the deals that you can get on software, but they're not going to want to pay more than a PlayStation 5. And that's why I really think that $399, $499, those are the sweet spots. What I'd love to see those launch at, because that would be very competitive. However, I don't think that price is realistic. And I'm looking at $599, $699 for these two devices.
I think they just want to get as many people into their Steam marketplace ecosystem, and they just print money in that place. So if they have more,
I agree.
Yeah,
great point.
They just have more people in the ecosystem on a system that they might have lost $100, $150 on per sale. They'll make up for it in 6 months. If you're a new gamer going into the Steam marketplace, you're about to drop like $300 immediately. So you'll recoup the money just in a different way. Consoles really, they have that digital old library, but not like Steam really does. It just is so vast.
But let's just touch on those controllers real quickly. Give me your first impressions and price.
So about the controller, it's a little clunky. I love the touchpads because we're gonna need some mouse action for a console game. For playing on your couch, you're gonna need those touchpads. But that controller is kind of ugly and kind of clunky. And so I don't know how it's going to fit my hands. It doesn't look very comfortable. But I'll say that the GameCube controller looked nuts, and that controller was super comfortable. So, it could shock us.
Yeah, plus
and
one
your price.
for the game.
Your price? You mean if I were to buy it on its own, $99? That's what they're going to charge me for it.
I'll just say right off the bat, I think you're right on the price molding. I think $100 is spot on. I love that you can do the wireless charging with it. I think that's awesome. I use the trackpads all the time on the Steam Deck playing like Dawn of War or RTS games. So this is truly the first step, getting much more sophisticated controls for console players. The controller, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. I think I'm going to buy it, play it on my normal PC, and just call it a day. I'll be day one-ing that one for sure.
As someone who's not familiar with those trackpads on the Steam Deck, are they accurate? Could they function as mice?
Yes, 100%. And people do. I don't. I'm still such a joystick kind of guy. People play like FPSs and they do everything on the trackpads. But I'm more of just
That piques my interest then. And what's your price for it?
I'm gonna
say
$100. Yeah,
$100,
like molding.
It is a little bit of bummer that this does have a battery already installed with it. I love the Xbox version where I can hot swap in case my battery dies and I don't have to replace the full controller after 3 years or so. Looking at you, Sony. So I would agree. I'm gonna just, for argument's sake, I'm going to say they're going to try and make this get more adopted widely, and maybe it'll be as low as $69. And that's
smoking. Whatever it is, I'd like a little bit of it.
I like where Dan's head's at. I like
where it is too, but it's crazy.
I think a lot of this stuff is going to be cheaper than what we're going for. I think it's going to be a shocker. I'm
more expensive than what we're thinking.
No, they want to get this stuff out. They're going to be competitive. It's going to be a really competitive situation. I'm really curious to see what they land on.
And I know that we're not huge into VR. I dipped my toe into it this year, and well, I kind of got burned because I wasn't a huge fan of the Meta Quest. Yeah, exactly. I lost it. RIP. But the Steam frame glasses, they do look pretty slick. They're launching so much here. Will this get lost in the shuffle? Are you guys interested? And what do you think the price?
Not interested. I do like it that it doesn't need to be attached to anything. That is an essential piece of any VR headset, is that you got to have your freedom of movement. Price, I'm going to say that is $599.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
No, this thing's going to be $1,000. It's going to be expensive.
Oh, wow. Oh, you think I'm under it? Oh.
I think so. This thing's going to be pretty expensive, unfortunately, because I think this is going to be this is going to be the hidden gem in all of this. I'm calling that also. This is going to be, I think, the game changer VR, that if Valve is doing this because they believe in this piece of hardware, they're not going to put out anything at this point if they don't believe in it like wholeheartedly. I think this is going to come through, and it's going to be really hard to get. Dan, for the remotes, it's battery powered. I thought of you immediately when I saw that little spec. I think it's going to work really well. People have already been, people who had their first impressions on it said they really enjoyed it and liked the look. I don't think it's for me, but who knows? I still think it's going to be really popular, and this is going to do a lot for the VR environment right now.
Nice. A VR renaissance?
Yeah, VR renaissance.
I don't know if we're quite there for the VR renaissance just yet. I'm all for it because I love the technology and the idea, and we all, of course, want the holodeck to work. But after playing the Meta Quest, which is several years after I first bought the Oculus Rift, and not seeing the improvements that I think need to be there before the technology gets widely adopted, I see this as the redheaded kind of stepchild in the family of hardware suites. I think this one gets shoved under the rug pretty quickly. I could be wrong, though. That could be the console itself. But it's definitely going to be pricier, and I'm guessing because it comes with the controllers and because of the technology used in it, it's going to be $1,000 as well. That's where I'm landing for sure.
Okay, I'm going to up my estimate to $10.99 then.
Ooh.
I'll put it right.
That's not too shabby.